Got a few things on the agenda today. One, getting some granular fert out on the Tiff Tuff after our mini renovation because we haven't had rain. And then we're going to get some pigment out on the green and talk about why it's a great thing to use coming into the cooler months and throughout winter too. So this is how the area is looking a week after, well, not quite a week, after scalping. No, it is a week. After scalping and also scarifying the area. So we went nice and low. That is for sure. Some of it's already starting to come back and push through. But there is some areas that need a little bit of help with some nutrients. So we're blowing this off again to get everything off the top. Taylor did that yesterday. But it's definitely nice and scalped, which is good. So we got a ton of the thatch out, which is fine this time of year. We've still got warm enough temps to do this, especially if we're up in a warmer climate where it's quite a lot warmer. We're already starting to drop below nights at 10 degrees, but we're getting days still up high 20s, early 30s. So it's not going to be a problem for this grass here. I remember doing a renovation on Tiff Tuff when I had it in town, like a huge scout back in April, and it came back in about 2 to 3 weeks if you give it a little bit of nitrogen and other nutrients too. So put this out now over this whole area, water it in, and then we should really start to see it green up over the next little bit. Lastly, with something like proliferate or reinstate, you don't have to water it in straight away. Just don't apply it to dewy grass, because then you will have to water it in straight away because it starts to activate the prill. But we're going to water it now anyway because I'm here and I'm thinking about it. But I could water it in tonight or tomorrow morning. Probably tonight would be better because you get a bit of dew overnight. So preferably later this afternoon would be the go. But let's just chuck it on. Now we're going to put about 9 to 10 mil of irrigation on here, probably a bit more to be honest, because I haven't had water for a while, so I'll probably go a proper irrigation cycle, so about 13 mil, half an inch on this area here, and probably water it just twice a week. Tiff Tuff, I don't have to water this too much. I really haven't watered this lawn much at all this season, like it just holds on. And the good thing about Tiff Tuff is let it go dry if you've got a drought, and it will all come back once we start to get a lick of rain. How many poos have you collected?
All of them.
All of them, good answer. So it's all a bit of a mess here at the moment. Paspalum needs a mow on the ryegrass. Need to deal with this cooch and other stuff. So that's next week's job. Planning to do a little renovation on the green and the surrounds in the next 2 weeks. So very, very soon. So if you've got cool season grass, it's time to really start thinking about overseeding and getting prep. Remember, if you're overseeding, you can't put pre-emergent down. We put pre-emergent down the Tiff Tuff because I'm not overseeding, just doing a little bit of a reno. It won't have any impact on how the pre-emergent works. So the Spartan or the barricade on that area, it's not going to break it, scarifying, break down that barrier at all. A few people asked that last week, so it's not a problem, but we'll be working on this soon. But for now, we just want to get some pigment out on the green just to help with a little bit of colour back in this area, because it's getting towards the end of the tail of the season and the colour's not looking as great as it has. And a lot of supers use it to make the area look a little bit nicer. Normally put it out with most liquid fert applications just to give it that pop, not to make it look completely fake and ridiculous, but just to put a little bit more colour back in there. It actually helps protect the leaf a little bit from the cooler weather when it starts to come in, which is why it's great through the cooler months, sort of like a frost protector. And also can help a little bit from the heat too, because it does actually coat the leaf. But we'll put that out in a minute, and I always like to mix with a little bit of liquid iron just to get a natural green up at the same time. But I'll show you the difference. We'll put some down on the green and show you the before and after. And I'll put some on a little patch on the tiff tuff over there on the brown spots and explain to you why we need to actually start applying pigments now if you want to use them through winter, because if you apply it to brown turf, it looks nasty. So just cruising around on the green, Taylor's just down here picking up some poops. And there's a lot of localised dry spot, possibly a little bit of ERI in some areas like brown patch. But I tend to see this whenever I don't give the green a good water for a while. So the bore stopped working a couple of days ago because it wasn't anything to do with running out of water, it's just it went out. Yeah, definitely a massive dry spot just there too. So it's gone off, and there's a couple of patches on the rye. Because I was expecting rain, I wasn't too stressed about watering, and then we didn't get any rain. So we actually need to sort of fix this problem while we're at it. So we're still gonna put the pigment out to help just bring some colour back into this area, but I got water last night, so that's fine. But you can see here's another dry patch on the ryegrass. Very, very bad. I think we're overseeding and doing a reno. But yeah, we need to do pigment. We're gonna put out some Fertiliser too, just to help rejuvenate some of those areas that have gone dry. Probably not gonna put out liquid iron, because we don't want to push any nitrogen at this point. I just want to get it coming back and looking nice. So pigment, a little bit of Fertiliser, spray it down, keep the water up to it for the next little bit. So water at least every 2 nights, if not every night, with bent grass on a sand green, and go from there. But I've had this happen a few times this season when I've missed a water. This is bent grass for you. We're not down here every day checking it. That's what tends to happen. So today we're going to put out, as I said, some pigment, some Fertiliser to help with those dry patches, and then also we're going to try jar test and see if we can get some Kikuyu in there too. We need to just to do a jar test to make sure they don't separate when we put them together. Where's the Fertiliser?
Just there next to the food.
See if the Fertiliser stinks. Probably does. Yeah, a little bit. Was it like a veggie, mate? A bit of stank. A bit of what? Shaky shake. Yes, true. Always make sure you shake your product before you use it, no matter what it is. Get all the goobies out. That's probably too much. A little bit of wetting agent. Well, that's a lot. Watch out, Schnitzel. So this is the new pigment here called Deep Green. So we used to have a different formulation. This is just the new formulation. So it's got a nicer, almost like a black green. So it looks a little bit more natural, not that bluey, fake looking green you get with some pigments. So it does pair along very, very nicely with grass, especially if you're doing it while the grass is still green and going into dormancy. Don't do it, as I said, when your lawn's brown, because it will just look nasty. So it's now time to start getting it out. And this is something you probably want to do monthly from now until the start of spring. Just help with frost and keep your lawn looking schmick over the next few months. Nah, that worked well. So you can really see how much of a instant impact that has on the lawn. Like the colour is so good and it looks natural, like it doesn't look fake because it was green when we're applying it now. If you get a little bit of streaky stuff, you'll notice it more on like shorter cut turf like this. If you get a little bit of streaky looking stuff like this, I've actually found watering it in straight afterwards for like 5 minutes on each sprinkler head, if you've got individual sprinklers or just your at-home sprinkler. So if you put out a little bit less water, I'd probably say about 10 to 15 minutes, just to water it off the leaf a little bit. It actually waters it in so it actually looks a little bit more even across the whole area, just to get rid of that streaky look. Because when you're doing it with a sprayer, like individual runs without a boom or anything, you will get that if you get a tiny bit of overlap. Just a quick water will fix that. But you can really see where Taylor is going right now. You always got to make sure you're agitating it properly too when you're walking around. So when Taylor's walking, it is bouncing around quite a bit. But something that I'll be putting down probably monthly from here on in, just to really help throughout the next couple of months. So I'll just show you what it looks like when you put it directly on brown grass and why you shouldn't do it. Because for starters, it doesn't pop very well. It doesn't look natural. Yes. Doesn't look great. Do a few runs. See, it just looks like that real bluey, fake grass. Look, it doesn't look natural like this, like your normal green colour. And next to it just looks super blue and nasty. So you got to make sure you're applying it before everything goes dormant, otherwise it just looks a little bit sketchy, to be honest. I've seen people do it, like it does look better than brown grass sometimes, but it does stand out a little bit too, so make sure you're getting on top of it as soon as you can if you want to be using it this season. Well, that's about it for this video. It looks a lot better after putting that down. Definitely not something you have to do, but something I like to do leading into these months. I did a little bit last season too, but I want to keep more on top of it this year. I could do the ryegrass too, which I probably will do the ryegrass, just to keep things ticking along and looking nice. Believe it or not, a lot of superintendents use pigments on their greens throughout all of the winter months, even fairways too. One of the places in town on their fairways use it all winter long just to keep that colour in there and make it look nice. But great that you can blend with other products, great that we get some wetting agent and some Fertiliser out to help with that localised dry spot and possibly a little bit of disease in there. Could be a little bit of, again, brown patch, which Fertiliser can actually help with repair on that too. But all the products I talked about today are on the website. Check them out. If you guys want to help support the channel, that's what helps drive these videos and all the upcoming projects, so I appreciate it. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next vid. Two, which I probably will.
How good a job Taylor's done on that green. Good job, Taylor. I'm really proud of you. You deserve a pay rise.
A lot of superintendents use pigments on their green.